Thursday was the last time I was here. Have you seen this yet?
Yeah, we came down here.
So what were you saying about who's in the blue car there?
Undercover.
It's undercover.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's where I usually park. Yeah. I park, and when there were trees here, I could get in.
Are they doing something to our cars down there? No. Okay. I mean, we're not illegally parked, right? We're on the street there.
Yeah, you're not legally parked.
Not that that would stop them from...
They're just going to keep circling us.
They're just going to keep circling? Okay.
This is what they do.
Yeah, you're right. That guy just circled, and now he's coming back, and he's turning around to circle again. This is insane.
See the nose come up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
This
you guys.
this is the taxpayer funds.
Yes. Yeah.
See, he's going to stay there. That's an undercover cop.
There's one there.
And-
Oh, that one. That
And
probably wasn't.
apparently we need more of this. There's
Yeah.
not enough policing of a gate.
Yeah.
We need more.
And this is a public walkway. Like I said, you can go and you can film. There's a MARTA bus stop symbol over there. There is a literal MARTA bus stop, closed, protected sign, MARTA bus stop. This is a public citizen walkway. We are standing in a public walkway. We are not causing any trouble.
We're not violating
We're
any
not
laws.
we are not throwing rocks, bricks.
By the way, that was another undercover cop just now.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
All of these resources for 3 journalists and an activist doing an interview. This is
But she looks very dangerous.
So, in the beginning we were just, all distraught. And, I was saying driving in here, look how far back that forest goes.
Well, yeah.
Do you see that?
It's
Like, look
it
how-
looks like it goes way, way deep into the forest, and it's hard to
It
tell
goes
from
to
here.
Key Road.
It goes all the way to Key Road.
It did. It used to. But they've destroyed from
Oh, yeah.
Key Road here. The Key Road is the Atlanta Prison Farm. That's on
Okay.
that side.
Okay.
So they've cut like this, okay? This is Entrenchment Creek Park over here, and that's the park that's now been closed by executive
Right.
order.
That's the
since-
Ryan Millsap section of where, right?
That's
more or
what you
less?
and I were talking about the other
Right.
day. But DeKalb County said that they're going to put $1.something million into it and restore it and reopen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so at
Okay.
this point in
He might have
time,
lost his lawsuit then.
in this point in time, I don't know exactly what's happening, right, with Entrenchment Creek Park. All we know is they took our park away, and people can't go there. People who live, there are 2 houses right over here on this side of the street. This is a residential area. This is a business area, but it's also a residential area. People who exercise, who walk their dogs, who come for just a sense of being and see birds and, be a part of an ecosystem, have lost their ability to even access a park.
Yeah, I was lucky enough when I was still here in January. I was lucky enough to be able to still go into Weelaunee People's Park. Ryan Millsap had already pulled out a bunch of the pavement, the bike parks. You could see where they had torn out part of the Forest Defender encampment and just had trashed. I found some paintings that had been put into a bin, I think, by either the police or Ryan Millsap's construction folks. But you could at least still get in there. So this morning when we came down here, it's even more devastating. There's now a double layer of barricades.
Oh, I think it's like,
and more.
Check, it was like 3, 4, or 5 layers of
it's deep,
barricades.
it's deep. And-
yeah.
And what was left of that parking structure and park is absolutely gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I came down here, and I'm so glad you're confirming this for me, because I said to John this morning, I said, I'm pretty sure the last time I was here in January, there were still trees all here.
Were there?
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to stand over there?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
people
yeah.
need to actually see
Yeah.
how devastating. This is devastating. This is acres and acres. And even if they want to reestablish a forest here, it's going to take years to get back to where it was before. This is not something that's going to be simple or easy. I mean, this is a devastating loss of forest.
And about what percentage of loss of forest is it?
I mean,
We've heard 85 acres, but we've also heard they plan to clear 400 acres. I don't don't know, but look, while we're here, see the trash pile? That's the landfill. This is when Dr. Eccles from South River Watershed Alliance talks about environmental racism. Okay? This is clearly a land grab in a predominantly brown and black working class neighborhood that this community is marginalized in the first place, but now we have an exploitation.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a taking advantage of, it's an exploitation, and I will just say that this church did not know that this was going to be a firing range and a burn tower was going there. They did not know. They were unaware.
So this is where one of the firing ranges and the burn tower is going to be constructed here?
And the firing range plans are down facing with the weapons pointing to the prison, children's prison. Yep. So as a veteran, as a military veteran, I know what a militarized state looks like. I was in the military. At one point in my life, I was government property. I was owned by the military. I was stationed at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I learned how to fire an M16. I fired an M60 myself. I threw a grenade. I learned how to set up a claymore mine. I learned how to use a light anti-tank weapon. Okay? When your community and your city and DeKalb County starts looking exactly like a militarized state, something is wrong. Yep, something is wrong. But all of this, how Dr. Jacqueline Eccles says, is that they treat and have been treating South Atlanta. We're East Atlanta, but we are Southeast Atlanta now. They treat this like the toilet bowl.
So this is just for clarify. We are currently right now in unincorporated DeKalb County, which is also part of the problem. My understanding is because they don't really have a city council person that they can go to because they don't have a member of the city council. They're not in the actual city.
Yep, exactly.
Doesn't that allow them to do exactly what you're talking about?
Well, what it allows people to do still, no matter where they are, is to be vocal about not wanting this. So no matter where you are, what Michael Thurman says is, he's the DeKalb County CEO. When he closed Entrenchment Creek Park, he said, for your protection, okay, let me just tell you what this is. This is psychological ops. This is psychological operations, okay? The government and histories have a law. This is psychological warfare, okay? This can get really deep because governments, essentially what they do is they end up having a trauma bond, creating a trauma bond with their citizens, with the people that they represent. So when Michael Thurman says, for those who live, work, and play in DeKalb County, some people live, some people just work, some people just play in DeKalb County. He was speaking to everyone. So for those who live, work, and play in DeKalb County, you all have a say. You don't necessarily have to live in an XYZ place to be able to have a say. At the end of the day, this is impacting our climate, okay? So you are a citizen of Georgia, where literally the lungs of Atlanta are being destroyed for a militarized presence to fly in and out of Hartsfield-Jackson Airport right here to be able to generate revenue after revenue after revenue. So it's not only a question of where do you live, where can you vote. You know, we can vote with our dollar, we can vote by speaking up, we can vote for the climate, we can, you know, at the end of the day, it's one of the same. It just so happens where do you happen to vote? Where do you happen to live? So, in other words, to answer your question, is we have to let people know that it's not only where you live, it's where you live, work, and play. And it's all about being a citizen of the state of Georgia. You can live in North Georgia, 75 miles from here, but you can be concerned about what's happening in your own state You know, this is, let's just say, this is Georgia on my mind. You know, Ray Charles sings Georgia on my mind. You know, wherever.
He didn't mean this. He meant the actual beauty that
yes.
was previously.
Georgia, Georgia, no peace I find, but an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind, right?
Yeah.
And we know that we're supported and we have solidarity from all over the world because people recognize that this is not just a local DeKalb, City of Atlanta, North Atlanta, South Atlanta issue. This is a global issue. But let me just tell you this, these trash heaps would not be happening in Buckhead.
No.
This,
Right.
when I spoke at DeKalb County Public Comment, actually City of Atlanta, when I spoke at City of Atlanta Public Comment last time, I said, would you be building a burn tower and a firing range in the backyard of Christ the King Catholic Church in Buckhead?
No.
Yeah.
Well, the answer is no, which is why I think it does matter that it's unincorporated. You're right that we're all citizens, work, live, play, 100% people can speak that way. But the unfortunate reality is we have a lot of police surrounding this area right now as we're doing this interview. I don't know what this is about. All right, they're moving on.
Intimidating us.
Yeah, probably. But we're going to keep doing our
You have your
interview.
press.
I have my press credentials
Yeah, you have
on.
your press credentials. That was intimidation.
That was intimidation. You know, can I point something else out? I think that is probably obvious to all of us right now. We're talking about just literally destroying the lungs of Atlanta right here behind us. And it is insanely hot today. It is insanely humid. It feels like it's 130 degrees. I don't think that's an exaggeration. And what is adding to this environmental devastation that we're experiencing right now is what they're doing. Eventually, you're not going to be able to, like, we walked into an underground parking lot from having lunch out into the parking lot, and I almost couldn't breathe. It was, you know, so, well, we're just going to carry on. We're just going to carry on.
You see what we go through?
Yeah, this is crazy.
Let me just tell you, I volunteer, right? I do food volunteering. My kid went to college. I volunteer 3 days a week. We feed hungry people in this community through Food for Life. On Wednesday at our distro, we had community members with their children coming in to get free food. No questions asked, free food. But we see from our movements that Cop City will never be built. And Cop City will never be built.
Let me ask you this. We're just seeing part of this clear cutting right here. I have no doubt that there's much more of it going on and we just don't know it or can't see it.
Take you over to the front of Entrenchment Creek Park. Okay. We're going to go there, and then we can see Tortuguita's Vigil, where we have our food distros, and then you can even, have you driven down Key Road?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't like to go down Key Road. It's really creepy down Key Road. I come here. I've been coming here since they started clear cutting, but this is also the way that I come to volunteer to distro. So when I started coming here, when Tortuguita was killed, and I volunteer at every single Wednesday distro since then. Maybe I've missed 4 since the 3rd week of January. On that first distro, there was a lot of press, independent press here to cover the story, and we're still here. We haven't gone anywhere. They closed the park, but we went to the corner. Yep. And what I was saying prior to that, we had a little tiny boy coming and getting food the other day, and he had ramen noodles and macaroni and cheese, and he had to watch the police massing up in tactical gear who were passing us to set up, to mass up at McNair High in preparation for something that would happen. Nothing was going to happen on the march that Belkistran and a lot of our other community members were on. We had a helicopter circling our Walani distro, and basically, really came so close over the tree line, while we had families with children and maybe about 40 people attending to the Wednesday distro and having a potluck. So we have a potluck also. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, and it's unfortunate that every single Wednesday they mass up and post up at the barricades, and we're feeding people. Why can't they come and feed people? Why can't you use that money to buy more food to feed people? Why can't you use that money to put into substance addiction programs that people might need to, be able to thrive in our communities? It makes no sense. It just makes no sense at all. And just makes no sense.
Well, let's go to the Entrenchment Creek then.
Yeah, so we'll go to Entrenchment Creek. You know what we'll do? We'll park it towards Vigil.
Yeah, I know.
And then
exactly
you can
what
walk
it is.
down.
Yeah, you can walk down.
Yeah, you can walk down
So
as press.
This morning there was an officer there in a car. He even had his lights on the entire time.
Oh yeah. They stay there. At one point, at the very beginning, Sherbam was asked, "How much money is this costing?"
We should be recording this movie. Yeah.
In the beginning, we heard the police presence here was costing $40,000 a week. The question was asked not long after that, and then we haven't heard any other numbers. So,
I'm saying it's higher.
yeah, absolutely. That money could be going to build elementary school in Thomasville Heights that doesn't even have an operating elementary school.
Wow.